I never thought I'd be telling this story, but here we are. Looking back, I should have seen the red flags, but when you're a kid, you don't question things the way you should. You trust the people around you. You assume adults always know best. But that night changed everything. It started like any other evening. My parents were going out for dinner, leaving me with our babysitter, Ashley. She had watched me before, always smiling, always acting like the cool older sister. My parents trusted her completely. And honestly, so did I. But something about her energy that night felt off. Maybe it was the way she kept checking her phone or the strange, almost nervous excitement in her voice. Whatever it was, I didn't think too much of it at first. Everything was fine for the first hour. We ate pizza, watched TV, and laughed at silly videos. My dog, Max, was curled up beside me on the couch, his tail wagging lazily. He was my best friend, always by my side. But then, out of nowhere, Ashley sat up straight, grinning in a way that made me a little uneasy. "I have an idea," she said, glancing between me and Max. "Let's make a video. Something fun. Something crazy." I hesitated. "What kind of video?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she pulled out her phone and started setting up the camera, positioning it just right. My stomach tightened a little. I didn't like how serious she suddenly looked. "It's just a challenge," she said, waving off my concern. "People do it all the time. It's no big deal." Max sat up too, his ears twitching like he sensed something was wrong. I felt the same way. But Ashley was older. She was in charge. I told myself she wouldn't ask me to do anything bad. Right? "Come on," she urged, her voice playful but firm. "Just trust me." And then, she told me what she wanted me to do. For a moment, I thought she was joking. I let out a nervous laugh, waiting for her to say she was kidding. But her smile didn't fade. If anything, it grew wider, expectant. I shook my head. "I don't think." Ashley's face darkened just slightly. "It's fine. Just do it real quick, and then we can go back to whatever you want. No one will even know." I looked at Max, my heart pounding. He tilted his head, completely unaware of the strange tension in the room. My skin prickled with unease. Everything in me was screaming that this wasn't okay. But Ashley's eyes were locked on me, waiting, daring me to refuse. I had a choice to make. And in that moment, I felt completely trapped. My hands felt clammy as I glanced back at Ashley. Her expression was unreadable now, but there was something in her eyes, something that made me feel small, like saying no wasn't really an option. I swallowed hard, my mind racing. Max wagged his tail, still clueless, his big brown eyes looking up at me like he trusted me completely. That only made my stomach twist even more. He had no idea that something wasn't right. And I couldn't shake the feeling that if I went along with Ashley's plan, I'd regret it. Ashley sighed dramatically, like she was getting impatient. "Come on, it's just for fun," she said, leaning forward. "You always act like such a baby." That stung. I wasn't a baby. I just didn't like this, whatever this was. But before I could say anything, she picked up her phone and started recording. My heart pounded harder. It suddenly felt like I was being pushed into something I didn't understand, something I wasn't sure I wanted any part of. I shifted uncomfortably. "I don't think." "Relax," she cut in, her voice smooth, convincing. "No one's gonna see it. It's just between us." That's what made it worse. If it was really just for fun, why did she have to say that? My mind flashed back to all the other times Ashley had been over. She had always been cool, always the kind of babysitter that let me stay up late or sneak extra snacks. But now, I was realizing something. I didn't actually know her that well. Not really. Max let out a soft whimper, like he could feel the change in my energy. I gave him a small scratch behind the ears, trying to calm myself down. But inside, my thoughts were spiraling. I thought about what my parents would say if they walked in right now. Would they be mad at me? Would they think I went along with this because I wanted to? Ashley must have sensed my hesitation because she suddenly laughed, tilting her head like she thought I was being ridiculous. "Wow, seriously?" she said, rolling her eyes. "It's not that deep. I thought you were cooler than this." And just like that, I felt my face burn with embarrassment. She was making me feel stupid, like I was overreacting. But I wasn't, was I? I looked at the phone in her hand, the screen glowing, waiting. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I didn't know how to get out of this. I could feel my throat tighten as Ashley kept staring at me, waiting for me to just go along with whatever she had planned. The pressure in the room was suffocating, and for a second, I actually considered giving in just to make it all stop. Just to make her happy so I wouldn't have to feel this weird, nervous guilt pressing down on me. Max nudged my arm with his nose, his warm breath against my skin snapping me back to reality. He trusted me. That thought hit me harder than I expected. He didn't know what was going on, but he knew me. And if something felt wrong, then it was wrong. Ashley let out another dramatic sigh, shaking her head like I was the most annoying person on the planet. Okay, fine, she muttered. But then she smirked. I mean, I could always just do it myself. Something about the way she said that made my stomach churn. She wasn't just trying to get me to do something I didn't want to do, she was trying to manipulate me. She was making it sound like if I didn't do it, she would, and that would be worse. I gritted my teeth, feeling trapped. If I walked away, would she still post something? Would she tell people I was the one who had the idea? My head spun with possibilities, each one worse than the last. Ashley was still watching me, waiting. I had a choice to make. But no matter what I did, I knew one thing for sure. This night wasn't going to end the way I thought it would. I felt frozen, like the walls of the room were closing in on me. Ashley still had her phone out, still recording, her smirk growing as the silence stretched between us. She was waiting for me to crack, to give in, to do what she wanted. But I couldn't shake the sick feeling in my stomach. Max shifted beside me, his ears twitching like he could sense something was wrong. His tail, which had been wagging earlier, was now still. He stayed close to me, his warmth grounding me for a second. But that moment of comfort was cut short when Ashley suddenly moved. She reached toward Max, her fingers brushing against his collar. My breath hitched. Fine, she said with a shrug, her tone way too casual. I'll just do it myself. Panic surged through me. Whatever she was about to do, I knew it wasn't okay. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. I grabbed Max's leash before she could, pulling him closer to me. He let out a soft whine, confused but trusting. Ashley's eyes flickered with something I couldn't quite place, frustration, amusement, maybe both. Wow, she scoffed. You're really making this a bigger deal than it is. I swallowed hard. My mouth was dry, my hands shaking. Just stop, I managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. For the first time that night, Ashley hesitated. But then, her smirk returned, sharper than before. She lifted her phone higher, pointing it at me instead. Fine, she said. If you won't do it, I guess I'll just have to show everyone what a baby you are. My stomach dropped. Whatever was about to happen next, I wasn't ready for it. Ashley's words hung in the air, thick and heavy. My whole body tensed as she angled the phone right at me, her expression daring me to react. My mind raced, trying to figure out what she was planning, what she was about to do. Was she going to make fun of me? Post something embarrassing? Twist the story into something it wasn't? Max pressed against my side, his body warm and steady, but my heart was hammering so fast it was hard to think straight. I wanted to grab the phone, to stop her before she could do anything, but I knew that would only make things worse. If I lunged for it, she'd laugh, she'd taunt me, maybe even make a scene just to make me look bad. Ashley's smirk deepened, and suddenly, she started talking to the camera. Okay, guys, she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. I was just trying to do something fun, but someone's being a total buzzkill. I felt my stomach twist. Was she live streaming? My skin went cold at the thought. Who was watching? Was she sending this to her friends? Posting it for strangers? Seriously, she continued, turning the camera slightly so it caught both me and Max. I don't get why this is such a big deal. I clenched my fists, my pulse pounding in my ears. I wanted to yell at her to stop, to tell her she was crossing the line, but before I could say anything, something unexpected happened. The front door creaked. A familiar sound. A sound that shouldn't be happening. Ashley froze, her grip tightening on her phone. My breath caught in my throat. My parents weren't supposed to be home yet. It was too early. For the first time that night, I saw a flicker of panic in Ashley's eyes. She quickly lowered the phone, her entire attitude shifting in an instant. The smug confidence was gone. Now, she looked nervous, her fingers gripping the device so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Footsteps echoed down the hallway. My heart raced. Was it really my parents? Or was it someone else? Ashley glanced at me, and for the first time, she looked unsure of herself. Like maybe she had pushed things too far. Then, the footsteps stopped just outside the room. A shadow moved across the doorway. And in that moment, I realized, whatever was about to happen next, it was about to change everything. The room felt like it had frozen in time. Ashley's fingers twitched around her phone, her breath shallow. I didn't dare move, my pulse thudding in my ears as the shadow outside the door stretched and shifted. Then, just as suddenly as the footsteps had stopped, the door swung open. My dad stood there, his brows furrowed, his eyes sweeping over the room. Behind him, my mom peered in, her face unreadable. My stomach dropped. They weren't supposed to be home yet, but here they were, standing in the doorway, looking between me, Ashley, and Max, who was still pressed against my side. Ashley was the first to react. She let out a breathy, nervous laugh and quickly shoved her phone into her pocket, plastering on the most innocent smile I'd ever seen. "Oh! Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Carter," she said, her voice light, too light. "You guys are home early." My parents didn't say anything right away. My dad's gaze flickered from Ashley to me, his brows knitting together like he could sense something was off. My mom's eyes landed on Max, her expression softening just slightly before she spoke. "Everything okay?" she asked, her tone careful but firm. I swallowed hard, my mouth dry. Ashley was watching me, her smile still there, but her eyes were different now, warning me. I could feel it. She wanted me to cover for her, to act like nothing had happened. For a second, I almost did. But then I thought about the way she had tried to pressure me, the way she had turned the camera on me, the way she had made me feel trapped. And just like that, the fear I had been holding on to all night melted into something else, anger. "No," I said, my voice stronger than I expected. "It's not okay." Ashley stiffened. My parents exchanged glances. My dad stepped into the room, his expression darkening. "What's going on?" Ashley let out another nervous laugh, taking a step back. "Nothing. We were just joking around." I shook my head. She was recording me, trying to make me do something I didn't want to do. For the first time, Ashley's fake confidence cracked. "That's not true," she said quickly. "It was just, give me the phone," my dad interrupted, his voice sharp. Ashley hesitated. And that was the moment I saw it, that flicker of real fear in her eyes. Not because she was scared of getting in trouble, but because she knew that whatever was on that phone could change everything. Ashley's face paled as she clutched her phone tighter, her whole body tense like she was debating whether to hand it over or make a run for it. My dad didn't move, didn't raise his voice. He just held out his hand, waiting. The silence in the room was unbearable. For a second, I thought she was going to refuse. But then, with a forced, shaky laugh, she pulled the phone from her pocket and handed it to him. "It's nothing, really," she mumbled. "Just some dumb videos." My dad didn't respond. He just unlocked the phone, scrolling with a serious expression. My mom stepped closer to me, putting a hand on my shoulder. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. I nodded, but I still felt shaky. I wasn't sure what would happen next, but I knew things weren't going to just go back to normal. My dad's jaw tightened as he watched the screen. I didn't know what he saw, but whatever it was, it made his expression darken. He turned the phone toward Ashley. "This is what you call just joking around?" he asked. Ashley swallowed hard, but she didn't say anything. She just looked at the floor. My mom sighed, rubbing my back gently before looking at Ashley. "I think you should go home," she said firmly. "We'll be speaking to your parents." Ashley's head snapped up. "Wait, I didn't mean." but my dad was already handing her phone back. "Now, Ashley." She hesitated like she wanted to argue, but she must have realized there was no way out of this. With a frustrated huff, she grabbed her phone and stormed past them, muttering under her breath as she disappeared down the hallway. A few seconds later, the front door opened and slammed shut. The tension in the room lingered, heavy and suffocating. I let out a shaky breath, finally able to relax, but I still felt like I was buzzing with leftover nerves. My mom knelt in front of me, brushing my hair back. "You did the right thing," she said gently. "We're so proud of you." My dad nodded. "If anyone ever makes you uncomfortable like that again, you tell us. No matter what." I swallowed the lump in my throat and nodded. Max let out a small bark, wagging his tail like he could tell the worst was over. I reached down and scratched his head, feeling a strange mix of relief and exhaustion. That night, as I lay in bed, I kept replaying everything in my head. I had been scared, unsure, but I had stood my ground. And even though I never wanted to go through something like that again, I knew one thing for sure. I would never let someone make me feel trapped like that again. Not ever.